Greetings, this is Dior Ashley Brown on August 11, 2022, hip hop's birthday, visiting with Elise Perry on behalf of DC Music Summit and the Humanities DC Oral History Collaborative. How do you prefer for people to address you?
Elise.
Okay.
Elise.
Awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not too much to that.
That's a nice name. Who gave you Elise?
My mama and them. My mom and dad. She has a story. She had a story. It was a mixture. She said she wanted my name to have East at the end.
Oh,
So
nice.
at one point there was a Denise, and I'm so glad that it wasn't Denise.
Yeah.
Because, this can travel, Elise can travel time a little bit better than Denise.
You know? I mean, I do, now that you're saying the East, phonetically, I like how it feels, when you say Elise. Yeah.
She did that, and it gets deeper. So my grandmother's name was Elsie.
Okay.
So changed the name, the way it's spelled.
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt's name is Eloise.
Oh, wow.
Like Eloise, but not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there was some of that in the conversations at some point, but then there was that East thing. So
yeah.
So I got Elise. And
That
not
is
Elise.
cool.
Elise.
So a combination of grandma's name and
I guess.
an aunt's name? Oh, that's beautiful.
I guess. And just the East.
Yeah, East.
I don't know. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Whatever they wanted, it worked.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. How do you see yourself?
How do I see myself? Who am I?
Yes, who are you?
I am a Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
I am a maestro. I am a creator. I'm a free spirit. I'm a notorious foodie. I'm a lover of good things, great things, great times, great people. I'm a lover.
Yeah.
I'm a lover, yeah. So all of that. Creator, did I say that? Renaissance woman, I used to call myself at one point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all of that. A director of things that are good, that feel good, look good, taste good, smell good. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you called yourself also a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
How would you pull that out? What involves you being a Swiss Army knife?
I have probably 3 careers.
Okay.
I am a music producer. I am a film director, film TV director, and that in and of itself is 2 different entities. TV is not film and film is not TV. And that, living in that world, I have different desires within there. So it has subs in there. So I'm moving towards being an executive producer in the mind of that. As a director, there's different things that require different skills and approaches in directorial places. So there's that. And then I've done everything behind the scenes. I've run cameras. I've done video control. I've been in the TV setting. I've been in the film setting. I've done plenty of podcasts with the rest of the world. I'm a Swiss Army knife. Sometimes somebody calls me and they say, "Hey, are you busy on August blah, 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 blah?" I was like, "Yeah." "Okay, good." And I'll say, "What am I doing?" I'll show up to a place and I'm like, "What am I doing? What am I doing today?" Oh, yeah, well, you're the TD today, technical director. Or I'm the TD director, which is pushing buttons and calling the shots, which I like. I like that because I ultimately have a little bit more control. I have creative control, and there's no lag.
Yeah.
So if I'm directing something musical, I can decide, I can feel something, and then the dissolve is under my hand. I don't have to say, can you feel me? Do it like this. It's just like, and it comes. And I make it happen when I want to make it happen. So I actually really like that. And I think that is one of my media, television, film superpowers. If there's a superpower, I think I can make things really stick. There's a lot in that. So all of me shows up if I'm ever doing anything performance-wise and as a director. All of it shows up, and it shows up in a more powerful way now. It's a superpower.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it's been a long time for me to be able to even talk about that being a superpower and talk about me.
Yeah. Wow, we're lucky.
Yay! You did that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I'm so excited just to break this down even more. So where were you born?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, right. What part?
I grew up in Northeast D.C.,
Okay.
Riggs Park.
Oh, right, Riggs Park.
Riggs Park.
I used to live in Riggs and in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
A little bit here and there, yeah.
Yeah, the big
Riggs Park.
legendary
Yep.
battles of that neighborhood.
Wow.
I was never part of it, but we all talk a little junk.
Yeah.
I just talk junk.
Wow. Yeah. So Riggs Park, awesome. Do you mind telling me what year you were born?
If you know, you know.
Okay. Or if a range around the time?
Well, we just talked about this off camera that I came out of college in the late 80s, so there it is.
Oh, wow.
Calculated.
So the late 80s. That's so cool.
Calculated, y'all. Post 50.
Wow.
Post 50.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'll just say post 50.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool, sexy women out here who are hitting 50 and hitting it hard, looking fabulous. So
That's right. That's right.
I'm good.
That's
I'm
right.
good with
oh,
that.
Absolutely. You look fabulous.
Post 50. It happens. It either happens or you're gone. I'd rather be here.
Amen.
And, be here to talk about it.
That's right. So what was it like growing up in Riggs Park?
It's a nice neighborhood. I had friends. I had our parents were allies to each other.
Okay.
My mom, she was a singer. And everybody down that part of the block, if we were playing up the alley or up the street, my mom called us, me and my sister, and said, when you hear Miss Perry call, you come with them. So, you hear that? Elise. And it was just like 4 kids running down the alley.
Get out of here. Time to come in.
Time to come in.
Wow.
When you hear Miss Perry, y'all all come down here.
Wow.
So it was like a group of us coming back, running down the alley. So we played in front, but we also played in the alley. It was safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where we played. That was the football field.
Yeah.
That was the kickball field.
Wow.
That was the tag.
Yeah.
That was the skateboard lane.
Yeah.
That was the bike ramps, everything. That's where I had my first crash against, everybody's backyard was whatever, we were there,
Yeah.
So what was it like? It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fun. It was just home extended,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your parents like? Did you grow up with your parents? And
Yeah. My parents both hail from Petersburg, Virginia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they both they knew each other. Even though they had an 8-year gap in their years, they knew each other growing up. They both went and did their own things and then came back together and, made me and my younger sister.
Wow.
Yeah. They each had marriages and produced a child out of each of their marriages.
Wow.
And they, my dad lost his wife. My mom divorced her husband. They went back home. They, reconnected, and boom, here we are.
Wow.
So that's how that happened. But yeah, I grew up with the both of them, and music was always in my house.
Why were your parents artists?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they sang.
oh wow.
They were singers.
Oh wow.
My mom was a music teacher at one point, but she also played piano. She sang in choirs, and my dad was one. Not many men are basses that sing bass, and they sound like a bass. You know, he and his brothers apparently were famous for rocking the bottoms of many choirs because they were like serious, legitimate, feel the bottom bass singers, not baritones, but basses.
Wow.
So yeah, they were singers. They sang, and music of all genres lived in our house. All genres, choral music, choral classic music, barbershop quartets, especially the men. Well, barbershop, yeah. And then not as much gospel, but certainly plenty of spiritual sung in different genre styles. So yeah, music was present, and jazz too. His dad's taste in jazz was very, very clear. Ramsey Lewis, Martin Jazz Quartet, so many. I'm not going to forget anything, so I'm not going to say stuff. I am going to forget something. But yeah, it was, the collection is deep.
Wow.
And so yeah,
Yeah.
I heard everything in that house.
How did you experience the music in the house?
It was just like air is in this room. Sundays, choral music. No, let's start with Saturday. Saturdays, choral classics in the afternoon, but I think it started with something else. Like it started early in the morning with something weird, some weird music. Oh, it was like Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
Interesting.
My mom would be listening
like
to
Mormon
that.
music?
No, just choir music, just
okay.
orchestral and choral music. But the Mormon Tabernacle Choir was more about that choir than it was about just being a Mormon.
Oh, okay.
For me, and for I guess people who listened, it was just one of the stellar elite choirs.
Wow.
The Mormon Tabernacle Choir was like that choir. So I heard that, and then Dad would be in another part of the house with the barbershop quartets in the afternoon, and then upstairs, then things would change up there, and you would hear Roberta Flack. And then my sister would have the Spinners or Delphonics or some Philadelphia international music popping up in her room. And then my brother would have War or Parliament, Funkadelic.
Oh, wow.
So it was a wide range. And then there was the radio.
Yeah.
And so whatever was on the radio, I was checking that out too. Jackson 5 or whatever. Not even Jackson 5. I think a whole lot of other stuff that was just playing. The radio was playing a lot of stuff. And, radio sounded different then. So, but yeah. What was it sounding like? A lot of stuff. How did I experience it? Well, it was that. They both sang in church choir. But then they put us in music-centered things. So I think it was like 7 when I took my first piano lesson. I wanted to play outside more than I wanted to play piano, but I liked playing it.
Oh, so you play piano?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Not well. I play well enough to get my ideas out.
Okay.
But, for somebody who's had a piano in their house all their life, I should be able to be I should be a
I say that all
virtuoso,
the time.
but I am not. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I can get an idea down. I can fake my way through. I shouldn't say fake, but I can get something out.
Yeah.
And then hire somebody else to do it better.
What was the vibe like on the streets between, you being a kid and then growing into your teenagers? Can you kind of thread that together? And
the streets?
Yeah, and then in college too, even
Okay, well, I wasn't in the streets.
Well, the neighborhood
Really?
Rather the neighborhood.
I was barely in the neighborhood because once I played with my friends. We had fun. Funny story. I tried to start a band. It's like sixth grade. I got a
Get
guitar.
out of here.
I tried to. And this, I thought about this earlier because it's so funny because it's the same thing happening then that happens now. I recruited all these people, all these kids in the neighborhood, and you can play guitar, and you can play this, and you can play this. Ain't nobody know how to play nothing. The only person who knew how to play something was me. The only one who really cared about playing anything was me. So music became something I did at some point. So sixth grade was when I joined the elementary school orchestra, played clarinet, just like every other kid.
Okay.
And it was great. It was horrible and great at the same time. But so that was sixth grade. After sixth grade, we joined the DC Youth Orchestra program, me and my younger sister. And I still played clarinet for a couple of years. And then it was bassoon. And bassoon got me all the money for college. But that program right there took me out of not having anything to do after regular school. That's where I spent my weekends. And once I got to different levels of play, different levels.
And where's bassoon?
Bassoon?
Yeah.
Bassoon is the long, bassoon stands for, it's German for bundle of sticks. Well, not bassoon, but it's German name, fagato, or fagato. But anyway, bundle of sticks, little mouthpiece that comes out, double reed.
Okay.
And so I was playing clarinet, wasn't moving up. They only give you a couple of chairs in these performance groups. So in prep level, everybody's learning. Then you have elementary orchestra, elementary band. So an elementary orchestra was bringing in more, moving some kids up. Some kids were moving up to junior, so they had spots. So I was in clarinet, prep clarinet. Sight reading wasn't that great, but other things were good. They took 2 or 3 people. One guy went to elementary band, 2 people went to the orchestra. Elise didn't make it. So I was like, I'm not sitting in here another year. Daddy, can I play saxophone? Because then, they had instruments. You can try it. So they didn't have any more. So he was like, I'm not renting it. I'm not renting anything. Find something that they have there. And I was like, oh. So one of his coworkers, he worked at Brown Junior High. He was a guidance counselor. He said, tell her to play bassoon. That's close. So I said, bassoon? It's for nerds. No. So Miss Young came over that Saturday. She was like, hello, Elise. My name is Jean Young, and this is the bassoon. And I was like, she is so dorky. Dad really wants to do this. He's going to dork me out like this. And Dad says, look, it's the bassoon or back to prep. Prep clarinet. I was like, all right, I'll play the bassoon. So 2 weeks that summer, so it's a summer program. So 2 weeks in prep bassoon. All I was really doing is learning to get my embouchure right, mouth position.
Okay.
And, get used to playing fingerings on the bassoon and getting used to reading bass clef. 2 weeks later, audition for elementary level. So 2 weeks later, after being passed up with my friends in clarinet, I'm sitting in the same orchestra with them playing bassoon.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that is cool.
I resisted.
Victory.
Victory is mine.
That's right.
So bassoon gave me everything I was supposed to have.
Wow.
Yep.
Tell me more about that.
Well, bassoon got me in those performance
Okay.
levels.
Okay.
I spent like a year in elementary, moved up to junior. Spent a year in junior, moved up to senior level performance groups. So the first one was senior winds. I was in senior wind ensemble. My conductor for that was JB. JB, meaning JB from Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers.
Wow.
So John Buchanan, Mr. Buchanan.
Wow.
Yeah, his afro is big like yours. It's beautiful. But Mr. Buchanan was talking about Dvorak. He was talking about syncopation. He was just saying syncopation is more than just what you hear on the radio. He said Dvorak, they give us education. He said Dvorak was this and Dvorak was that. And you can, and he would always be so cool. It was almost like he was still playing with Chuck, but he was talking about Dvorak. He had this way, and he was, anyway. So yeah. Mr. Buchanan, John Buchanan. So I spent a year or so in there, and then I went to the actual, the Bremer senior level group was the DC Youth Orchestra. And the reason I went so quickly is because they needed to have a full woodwind section when they went abroad. So I went abroad with them.
Where'd you go?
It was Greece.
Oh, wow.
And then Yugoslavia. It was still Yugoslavia then.
Wow. It's Czech now? Czechoslovakia now?
It's a Slavic nation.
Oh, okay.
I want to say Kazakhstan.
Oh, Kazakhstan.
We're saying it wrong.
Okay, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, okay.
My apologies. I'm smarter than to try and say it jacked up and pretend like that's correct.
Wow.
But it's a Slavic nation.
So you were playing bassoon even in that abroad program?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This
and
is
this
still
was
DC
still
Youth
high
Orchestra.
school?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was high school.
Okay.
Junior high school, something like that. High school.
Okay.
So my friend circles was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much.
So after high school, where did you go to college?
Hampton,
okay.
Hampton.
And what was your degree program? What did you study?
It's another story.
Okay. We're here. We're here for it.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife.
Yup.
So, we didn't talk about high school, but
Oh, you can talk to me more about high school.
Because this kind of helps.
Please, yeah.
So DC Youth Orchestra was pretty much my thing. My mom wanted me to go wherever I wanted to go. She said, "You want to go to Sidwell?" I was like, "No." "You want to go to Ellington?" I was like, No. Because so many of the teachers were at the orchestra program. So it's just like, seems like overkill. And I don't know if I want to perform like that. So I never really saw myself playing bassoon as a career.
Yeah.
So I was ultimately quietly confused as to what to do. So when it was time for college, I went to McKinley.
Okay.
So I decided to go to McKinley because
McKinley Tech, right?
McKinley Tech. Tech. Yep, McKinley Tech. Because they had always had a nice, thorough music program. And I decided that was good. There were a lot of people who were in the program that were at Tech. So I was like, I'm going to Tech. So everybody there, my band director wanted me to go to Norfolk because they had these band directors. They have they're a fraternity of their own because they've all kind of studied at all of their Eastmans, Peabodys, Berkeleys, all these big music conservatories.
Where at McKinley?
Well, the band director went to Eastman.
Oh, okay.
And his boys are these directors all over the world, all over everywhere. So I think the Howard guys, the Howard directors, UDC, Norfolk, all of those guys knew each other, and they were just like, we got kids, this is a funnel. It's like they're funneling their kids to all of these places. You're making sure that they have what they need so that they can pass these tests and they can get these scholarships.
That's right.
And they can go get in college to at least get some of this money. Free ride, hope so. Give them the best of what they're supposed to have for what they're doing. I went there as a music major. I went to Tech as a music major. So I was supposed to come out of there as a musician or something, right? But I didn't want to play bassoon. But I did learn saxophone finally.
Wow.
Because they had them over at Tech. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm finally going to play sax. So I played sax and I'm playing jazz band. So that's great. So now I can play whatever I want now because I got the skills of something, for something. So then I go to Hampton. I wanted to go to FAM. My uncle was a dean at FAM. I got a little bit of Rattler blood in me because I wanted to be part of that band so bad. But when I left high school, I knew that I needed more than just having marching band. I marched at McKinley, but I needed more than just marching band. I needed to be able to walk out of there with a degree that was going to take me to give me something that I could walk with for the rest of my life. So I was like, business? FAM has a great business department. Norfolk? I'm not going to Norfolk. Maryland, like I told you, I was thinking about Maryland. Maryland had a great music program, a great band, and I almost went there. But the reason why is because they had a good music program and they had a great computer science program. So because I was good in my computer science class, and one of my neighbors was a computer programmer, and she was making like, $30,000 a year.
That was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'm going to do computer programming. So I went to Hampton as a computer science major.
Okay.
That lasted for a year. I wasn't terrible, but I think I was too creative for the finite world of numbers.
Yeah. But you were in it for years, though.
I did it for a year. I got a C, I didn't flunk. So as I was about to leave Hampton, thinking that, beyond this band that I love, because Hampton was rebuilding, and the year I came in, they recruited like all get out. It became the Force that year. That's what the other name is, the Force, the Marching Force. So they became a force that year. But again, I'm not a music major, computer science. So what else is it going to be? I'm not going to be a computer science major. I'm not going to major in music. This has a great program here, but I'm not going to be a music major. So one of my band members said, hey, why don't you do mass media? I was like, I've always written well, and I'm really good with electronics, and I had a camera. So I knew that was probably a natural flow. Took the test, knocked it out. Sophomore, a little bit behind. But I was a media major, mass media major. And that started that. The Swiss Army knife.
Yes, right.
So I did really well.
Okay.
I did really well. And I was on a radio station finally.
What station was that?
WHOV Hampton.
You sound good.
WHOV Hampton. W. Not W.
W.
Rest in peace, Miss Whitmore. She was like, we don't say W. We don't say W. It's W. W. Anyway, W. But created a show that lasted well beyond me at Hampton. I think
What was the show called?
It was called the Lunchtime Concert Series.
Mm.
Yeah, so we featured an artist. Yeah.
You guys were featuring artists. Wow.
I featured, my first show was Phyllis Hyman.
Get out. Okay, tell us about Phyllis Hyman.
I had records. I pulled records and I just played an hour of Phyllis Hyman.
So you would concert series by
Yeah.
segmenting. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
it was like that.
I was like, Phyllis came to the school?
She did.
Oh, wow.
She did come to the school. She was a
Okay.
homecoming performer at one point.
Okay.
I met her the first time in
Wow.
college. And that was the first time I realized, don't let the people who you fan out for, don't let them break your heart. She was a little cool. And I was like, but I love your music and I love you, but it's just like, adjust. She can still be amazing. She's not your mother. She's not your friend.
Yeah.
She's your favorite singer.
Yeah.
And let it be enough.
I have that problem. I'm with you on that
Yeah,
one.
I had to learn. I learned a lesson. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you. Rest in peace.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's Hampton. But the last piece about that, Hampton, is that I did. So the last semester, one of my band directors created a class called audio recording. And I said, "Oh, Mr. Ransom, rest in peace." Too many people, too many rest in pieces. It's hurting my heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just lost him a year or so ago.
Okay.
But Mr. Ransom started that class. Only 2 credits. It wasn't even 3 credits. Wasn't 1. It was 2. Weird, right? And I took the class. So I learned how to record. Multi-channel recording, what we do here. I learned how to do it from him. And I recorded one of my classmates who is from here. Not here at this moment. She moved to Atlanta, but her name is Lori Williams.
Oh, I just saw Lori Williams at Blues Alley.
Yeah. Lori's
Her voice is amazing.
Lori's the bomb. She's one of my classmates.
Wow.
I recorded one of her songs. And recently, and just because she said, "So many firsts, Elise, you just finished directed my first video." I was like, "This is your first video?" She said, "This is my first official music video." So that just came out recently.
Oh,
so
wow. I've got to check it out.
I did that with her. Yeah. It was very sweet. But, so, yeah, I learned a lot about recording that day. Always record the drummer first.
Okay.
And let them be part of the first recording. So
Okay.
or have a click track or something.
Why is that just...
Because I recorded everybody. Because, time. It was just like, so-and-so can come, so-and-so can... everybody can come this day. Everybody but the drummer. And so...
I see.
She had her floating tempos. She plays piano. And so when the drummer came, he was pissed off. He's just like, this thing is speeding up. He's like, "Elise, you can't do it this way." I was like, "Dude, okay, lesson learned. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just play through it a couple of times. And you know when it speeds up. Let it get under you." And he's like, and it was great. But it definitely changed tempo. She got happy, sped up a little bit. But but anyway,
So where did you go after college?
Girl, this is going to be like a...
Well, no, because really where I would like to know is when you came back to D.C. You know what I'm saying?
It gets good. It gets gooder. It gets gooder. Because the diversification of my life really happened in those next 3 years. So before I left college, a former Hamptonian, a Hamptonian, but a former student, came back and said, "Hey, I want to hire one of these new kids to work. I work in a radio station, DC 101. Grease Man. You remember Grease Man?
I've heard of it, but
I'm getting old. Grease Man. He was like before Howard Stern, but in that
Oh
same
no,
realm.
yeah, I know Howard Stern, but
Okay, yeah. So anyway, Greaseman did a show on DC 101, big station, rivaled Donnie Simpson back in the day, rock music. So she was the manager of radio traffic, the trafficking of commercials. You know how the radio station gets paid. So I couldn't take the gig because I wasn't graduating on time. So I had to stay there through the summer.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, because I changed my major, remember? So she said, yeah, well, we need somebody in May. I was like, all right. She said, but call me as soon as you walk out, as soon as you leave. So when I finished that summer, I gave her a buzz. I was like, hey, this is Elise Perry. And you said, give you a call when I'm finished. I'm done. She's like, all right, well, come on down. And I was an intern for a couple of months. She told me to get out and go get a job because they're not going to hire me and you're too good. I said, all right. But I learned a lot about...
And this is at Greaseman 101. Or
well,
DC 101.
DC 101. I learned a lot about how radio stations make money. Ad sales. And who, and the power of, the power of that. And the power of the people who are in charge of that. I retained that. I remembered it like it was yesterday. Make goods. Don't mess up. Make goods. Make goods is like, okay, let's say you buy a time slot from me, and your time slot is like the hot time, like the afternoon drive.
Okay.
And so I can charge more because everybody's listening. Morning drive, afternoon drive. I can charge more. So put this right here. We'll sell your knickknacks. Okay? But it doesn't make it. Somehow something got screwed up and I couldn't play it. You're like, I spent $10,000 for that. So you have to find a way to make that good. Because you don't want to give them back the money. You want to so you have to find a way for that to work. Where's that going to go? Where's that going to go? Is it going to go somewhere else? It has to go somewhere to the same level of power, money making. But just all of that is deep and is real, and it's still. That's why traditional terrestrial radio and TV is still important, or anybody who's doing things with advertising, because it's the same thing. It's the same thing, except for there may not be afternoon drive on the net. But if your show is hot, then your whole show is the afternoon drive. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, got it.
So that was that. And I had to leave, and I went and got a job in AV. Like most of the...
And AV is audiovisual.
Audiovisuals.
Okay.
So I just got some money. Still was trying to get into some of the TV stations, work in TV. And my good friend Kervin introduced me to one of his good friends because we were working together. He's playing piano. I was like, oh, you play piano? You write? That's beautiful. I write too. And I've been, I've always written. And he said, play something. So I brought him a tape. Brought a tape. The next day we played it. He's like, that's you? I was like, yeah. We're missing a story.
Please tell.
Played him a story. Played him a song that I made on my first keyboard that I bought because I went to the mall that summer that I got back home. Met this dude, Khalil. And Khalil was working at Merry-Go-Round at the mall.
Okay.
So he looked cool. He thought I looked cool. We talked about music. He said, I make music. So I went and checked out his place. He had keyboard. And this one button, he pressed the button. It was like, doom, sicka, doom, sicka, doom, sicka, doom. I was like, yo, how do you do that?
What was it? What was it doing?
He was just sequencing. He was doing house music But it was just, he's sequencing. So I was like, oh man, that's when I said, I don't want to play, I want to write, I want to produce. That was my musical thing. I wasn't supposed to be playing. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be writing and producing. So he helped me buy my first keyboard, EPS, in Sonic EPS.
And this is in D.C.
This is in D.C.
And this is house era.
Yeah, it's
Maybe.
music. It was just right around the time New Jack Swing was about to pop or popping at the time. Because I remember I Like was like my joint.
Yeah. Yes.
You know that.
Yeah.
That was my joint, and the reason I liked it is because you know how it started out with horns.
Yes.
So I had a song that was basically horns because I didn't have enough memory to have some of the bigger instruments, so I just horns.
Yeah.
Drum section, you know, I had a drum kit, and horns, and a bass. And kind of rocked it out with that on my keyboard. I was like, this song reminds me of the song I did. So anyway, fast forward, I'm working with Curve, and he said, yeah.
And Curve is the guy you met at, Khalil was who you met at Merry Go Round. Now,
Right.
Who's Curve?
Curve, I met him working with the audio-visual company.
That's right. Okay.
So he said, you need to meet my boy Chucky Thompson.
Wow.
Chucky Thompson.
Wow. And this is around what years is this right here?
Like 89.
89. Okay.
Something like that.
And and you were telling us who else was on the radio
Who was on the radio?
that you were hearing? Like, what was influencing you?
Everything.
Everything, like who?
Everything I ever heard in my life.
Oh, in your
influenced
life.
me musically.
Okay.
But
We'll go back to that.
I dug Teddy Riley.
Teddy Riley.
I love
was dominating
what he was
the
doing with
airways
Guy.
Okay.
Because when I think about that stuff, I think about Teddy Riley, and then other stuff I remember is like hip hop had Heavy D, and that was
I love Heavy D.
That was another crew of people who were producing. But I love what Teddy was doing. Excuse me. So yeah, there's Teddy. Everything everybody was doing was good, because what was deep about that time is the 80s was moving. The 80s bands were moving out.
Okay. And those 80s bands were
Like Cameo.
Okay.
Even Earth, Wind and Fire, my favorite band in the entire world.
Oh my God.
First off. But those big bands
We're moving out.
they were just like, record companies ain't paying for all that no more. It's just like, scale it down, or and see, that's another conversation with black music, because rock bands were still able to thrive.
Yep.
I've never heard this conversation about black bands. I just keep hearing things about trimming down the bands.
Right.
And then to the point where they barely existed anymore. All right? But if these other bands would have like 2 guitarists, keyboard player, drummer, it's 5, 6 people in the band anyway. Maybe not. It got 6 people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Here's the word. Their infrastructure.
Yeah.
But in rock, bands always existed.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there were years where there were front men, there was 2 front guys, and then the band.
Yeah.
But we lost bands in the 90s. They call boy bands and girl bands bands. It's a group. It's 4 girls, 5 girls, 5 boys, whatever.
Yeah.
But that term always bothered me. But still, there were when it came to them paying the group, they wanted to pay less people back then. And that's what the 90s were. They were just like stripped down a number of people
Yeah.
who were playing in these bands. But
You met Chucky.
I met Chucky and
Chucky Thompson.
And we were in Chucky Mama basement, as we always say.
And what part of town were you guys when you were in the basement?
It's in Stronghold. That's where he was living. Well, I don't know if that's Stronghold. That's almost LaDroit Park where he is. So that's the other side of North Cap. But yeah, he was not really in Stronghold. He's sort of in LaDroit.
And LaDroit is in Northwest.
It's in Northwest, you know, a block or two away from the Howard University area.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Chucky will hear my stuff. I always tell the story. He's like, man, I like what you make, man. You always got this cool little shit in it. I'm quoting him the way he's with his curse words. Yo, Mo, you got this cute little shit in this pretty shit. Pretty shit. Pretty shit. It's dope. You know, always ear candy, that pretty shit. But I loved him because I heard things differently. He taught me how to write for the radio for that time. I knew song structure because I had been listening to it. But he used to tell me to strip it down. This is just after he said that. But when we were all trying to kind of figure it all out, I would hear how he did things. And he would hear how I do things. And we just all wanted each other to win, you know? So I learned how to make radio songs with him, you know, for that time, you know. I got music in my head and in my heart. But he was just like, yo, everything was stripped down in the 90s, 2000s. Everything got stripped down. It's too much going on. Curvin wrote Soon As I Get Home. He's
Faith Evans?
He's credited.
Whoa.
Yep, he's in there. He and Chucky.
Wow.
Curvin, we used to tease him, say, you got 10-finger chords. There's nothing wrong with 10-finger chords, but at the time, it's like people wanted to hear, didn't understand. It seemed like the masses wanted to hear less.
Yeah, like how complicated. As soon as you said that.
You know what I'm saying?
At the time.
But those chords that you hear are the ones that he used to play all the time. So I'm saying that because that dude was always knew a hit when he heard it. And I kind of learned that. I learned it. I learned it. And I knew when things changed. So it helped me listen to things with a different ear, with a different mind, to know what's going on and what we can do to merge who you are with the structure of what's going on. It does not have to be the same thing as somebody else is doing. In fact, if you're matching something that's on the air, you're 3 years behind, at least. So you got to start thinking differently and then create. So it's nothing wrong with stripping things down as long as the elements that you want to hear are being presented, you know, that are you.
Maintaining the uniqueness.
That are you. Your unique presentation has to be there. And mine is just because it's my life. I heard my things and I mesh all that together and you get me. And it might be stripped down, it may not be stripped down. But it hits when it hits. So I always heard it. So I heard the simplicity, I heard the repetition, I heard this. You know, when things hit, I could hear it. I knew that Far Away was a hit. When I played that for Aja, fast forward working with Aja from Kindred the Family Soul.
Oh yeah, that.
meeting her, I had a business partner, production partner, Charlie Jones.
And Asia's from DC too.
She is.
Yeah.
So, skipping over the fact that I finally got a job at BET, worked there for 12 years, and met my production partner there at my first production partner. Well, not really, but for the most part, yeah. One of our coworkers used to go out with Asia's mom, and he was like, "Yeah, my lady, her daughter wants to sing. Can y'all help? Talking to my production partner, can you help her?" And so I was just writing. I was still getting my my feet wet in this production thing, and just we were working with other artists and finding my way, and I was developing my songwriting, my production skills. So I was feeling good. Still, going back and forth with Chucky from time to time, just kind of knocking some stuff out. He's growing. He's starting to blow up.
Okay.
Anyway, so we meet Asia, and Asia's great. She's a baby of 14, and she's, awesome. And time goes on. She gets her own deal. She comes out of that deal. And I've been writing with her since she was 14.
Wow.
It was a good time to learn how to figure out all that stuff. But by the time I got to them, when she ended up meeting Fatine, and they became my husband and wife, and writing together and everything, I think I wrote one of their first songs that was their song.
Did you say you produced Far Away?
I did.
Far Away from Here?
I did.
It took me a moment. I was like, hold up.
I knew it was good. When it was done, I knew it was good.
Okay, yeah.
Because the formula was right from the very tippy top. I'm not being conceited. I'm not being boastful. But the truth is, I heard that. I heard it. I was like, Asia was getting ready to get on the train and go back to Philly. I was like, Asia, I gave her this tape.
Tape.
I gave her a tape.
Yeah.
I don't think
I had MP3.
I don't think look, I don't even think I burned it on the CD yet.
Yeah,
I was like, put this tape in or whatever. Maybe in a CD. I don't know. But it was just, the track. And, everything I am in bits and pieces was on that song. And so she calls me back the next morning and she sings on top. She sings it. And I was like, and I'm just doing like this.
Wow. So you wrote the lyrics and the okay.
She wrote the lyrics.
Nice. Okay.
I wrote the music.
Okay.
So she comes back. She calls me. She said, "What'd you think about this?" I was like, "Oh wow." She's like, "What?" It's a hit. Wow. She said, "Why?" She said, "No." I said, "It's easy. We got a good meaty song, stripped down, kind of nice.
Yeah.
And it's got repetition. It's got a nice little bridge.
I hear it.
Nice little this, not a bridge. It had a couple of different, B section. It was kind of cool. And, still playing in my head. And she's doing this, and she comes up with something. And then we go to that, and I said, "Oh, my God. You wrote that part, too?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, God." Fatine, I don't think Fatine wrote that song. I think he did add something, but at the time, she had written a good bulk of it. He did write some, but she sang to me, I don't know whether Fatine had heard it yet or they were still working on it, but the bottom line is, I heard that, and I was like, yeah, that's it. And we had already done some other songs, but I was like, this one's a hit. And it did hit. It hit.
I love the video, the song.
It hit.
I've seen them perform live.
I was supposed to be in the video, but I'm on the edit floor. Too many stars of Philly were there. India was there. Wow. Jill was there.
Congratulations.
Music, nah, they didn't get me.
Wow. Mm,
But yeah, man.
yeah.
So that was, that in a nutshell,
Mm-hmm.
created a bigger buzz in Philly for me
Mm.
than it did in DC.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that was?
Because it hit there. I
It
mean,
hit
I was
there
working
first.
with the
Okay.
Philly
Mm-hmm.
crew,
Mm-hmm.
and we recorded at Philadelphia International
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah.
Is that right? Sigma. We
Mm.
we recorded in Sigma Studios, Sigma
Mm.
Sound Studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I met legends.
Yeah.
I met.
Why don't you think it hit in DC? Do you think it was access or access to radio? Because you did know folks at DC 101, and why do you think it didn't hit?
DC 101 was sort of like a professional start,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and they did rock.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Classic rock at that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the music hit in DC
Mm-hmm.
clearly
Mm-hmm.
because HUR, hit hard. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly,
Absolutely.
fun fact: the first drums that we had on there, the second set of drums, they were programmed,
Mm.
and I was just like, these knock, and this will make KYS.
Mm.
This will stay on KYS.
Why?
Because they were programmed drums, and that was the sound.
That was out.
So they ended up recording live drums to it, which worked.
Yeah.
But I think it softened it. It did soften it, but it didn't make it a soft song. It just made it sound different.
Yeah.
But it was perfect for HUR. Both of them were perfect for HUR. But so I think ultimately it probably worked best the way that it ended up being. But I always will love the program drums because I was just like,
It was hidden.
I'm a DC girl, so
Yeah.
you always look for something to knock a little bit.
Absolutely.
So yeah, my artist, the artist that I was working with, came from being a part of the Kindred crew, being a part of that album, and being a part of that Philly scene. Just being there. I was there a lot, even if I was just kind of there. I did a little bit of work, but I was at Black Lily when Black Lily was popping. I would just go up there. That's where I emerged musically first, before I even emerged in the production space. I emerged there first before I did here. I even tried to get myself together to be part of Jazzy Jeff's crew. Ultimately, I did not, and it wasn't because of Jeff. I don't think he ever really knew, but one of his guys was trying to prep me for it. And I don't know if that would have been for me. So I'm kind of glad I didn't get so close to the situation where there would have been any kind of suffering or frustration. And I was going back and forth in between TV. I still had a job at BET.
Tell us a little bit more about BT, that experience, and how you got that experience.
Okay,
Because BT was based, or part of it was based here in DC.
Most of it was
Okay.
then. I finally got a job, and my first show that I worked on, I got a job as a camera operator. And my first show I worked on was Teen Summit.
Oh yeah, I remember Teen Summit.
Teen Summit.
Somebody was just showing the Shoe City commercial today, and I was cracking up. My city, your city, is Shoe City.
Shoe City. I loved being at BET. BET was like a master's degree in television and the entertainment industry. Met a lot of people.
Who did you meet?
Everybody.
Wow.
Except for Janet Jackson. I'm still pretty mad about the fact
would
that
be.
I was not there that day that she came in and toured the entire studio. Everybody got pictures. And I come into work that day because I worked in the afternoon. They just, Janet was here. I was like, I almost turned over to the, whoosh, no!
Wow.
She's my Beyonce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't meet her.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, everybody but Janet. We were just so close to everybody, and everybody was so excited to be there
Mm-hmm.
because there were so many black people there. You know,
Yeah.
It was just the place to be.
Wow.
I've spent more time in entertainment television of all kinds.
Wow.
And that's where I live better,
Yeah.
For anything. And music TV, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of things, but music, that is the blood. So if I'm part of anything that's visual, that has music attached to it, then it's going to be a higher level
Yeah.
coming from me. It just is. Because it's like breathing. So, yeah, BET was fun. My next set of best friends came from there. It was family. It was family. We all took the hits and the disrespect from people who thought that they were growing, so it may have looked a little crappy at first, and then people always commenting. To this day, it's like a sport to just hate on what BET is doing. The lies over who did it first, MTV or BET. I know a lot of the truths, so I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay.
I knew people who worked at all those places, so
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun. I didn't pay for nothing.
Wow.
You go to a club and you just have on your ID. BET.
And that's it.
It was fun. We had relationships and friendships with some artists.
Wow.
They wanted to be our friends.
Yeah.
We took them to cool places to go. Get in the car. Like, can I ride with you? I was like, hey, don't get me in trouble. We're not supposed to fraternize. It's just like, look, the limo is packed.
Yeah.
Let me just ride. And because they established friendships, then it was less. We weren't groupies.
Yeah. Yeah.
We weren't groupies. We just finished working with you for the last day or whatever, or several hours or whatever. It was innocent-ish, for most. Some people, they benefited in different ways, but for the most part, fun. It's fun.
What are some other artists you worked with as a producer?
A lot of after that.
After Asia?
After Asia, I started to create more of a relationship with people in D.C. So one of the landmark projects that I worked for so that I could just get it, so I started hanging out more with the people in D.C., with the artists in D.C., because they were, again, my friends, and some of them knew that I did the Kindred song. So that did give me a little bit of clout amongst a few folk. So I did a open mic.
Okay.
Lasted only a couple of months, but it seemed like it lasted a year because everybody remembers that thing.
Wow. What was it called?
It was called Eclectic Jam Live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me and my friend Keisha Street Clark. I had this stint in DJing, a brief stint in DJing. And the guys who threw that, it was a happy hour.
Okay.
Keisha was a good friend of them, and we should do our own thing. We don't need to do this. We can do our own thing. Let's do an open mic. We should do whatever we want. I was like, okay. So I did it. It was great. So everything that people are doing now, I was doing that then, like trying to record it. I brought in I had a Volkswagen Beetle. I had a whole sound system and the DJ equipment all in the back of my Beetle. How did it happen? I'm a packing genius. But yeah, so I wanted it to be more than an open mic. I wanted it to be more like a jam session. Now, everybody does a jam session now, but I met a lot of people doing that jam session. There were people who were bigger artists, and they were just like, what is this thing on Sunday nights? And so everybody started to come through.
Wow.
People started to come through. Not all the time, but somebody always popped through.
Yeah.
We had, what band did we use? We used the guys that played up in Baltimore, Craig Alston and his crew. So that was what's the name of that band? Fertile Grounds band.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I like Fertile Ground,
I was using a lot of Fertile Grounds band as my house band for a while. Then there was another band that played with Wes Felton.
Oh yeah.
Will Rast and his crew. And then I had my last band was Kendra and Kevin.
Kendra who from Funkadelic.
No, Kendra Rutledge, who plays bass here in D.C.
Oh, I know. Okay.
Used to play with Belladonna for
yes.
for a second.
Okay.
Did she do Belladonna? Yeah, I don't know. But Kendra, she's beast.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
And and Chuki introduced me to Chuki. And so all these musicians from nowhere and everywhere were just kind of cycling through. And so I just met a lot of people. Go to the other places that did the same thing. Bar None. The place down the street where Deborah used to be all the time. Deborah Bond.
Oh, yes, my girl too. Yes. Yeah.
So I just met a lot of people. Ayana Gregory. Wayna. Yeah. Wayna didn't do my show, but after a while, I met everybody. And I did a project in 2006 that was for relief efforts for Katrina.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina. And so I raised some money.
Okay.
And so I created a compilation record.
Wow. Can we find that now?
Yeah, I'll give you one.
Okay.
I got plenty.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't sell a whole lot of them, but I was able to make a donation.
Oh, good.
But it was great because people would basically just lend me their tracks. And then I put all of them on one track that I produced.
Nice.
So it's like 22 people that are based out of this area. Yeah. So we had Raheem, Ayana Gregory, Tammy Wellens, Deborah Bond, Sol Edler, Wayna, Cy Smith.
Oh, wow.
Agent Fatine. Raheem. I said Raheem.
Yeah.
Kia El-Amin. She out of Richmond. She's here. She's bomb. I'm still waiting for Kia El-Amin to emerge. I'm just waiting. It's going to happen one day. Yeah. Kia Bennett's on there. Afi, I said Afi. Just, a whole bunch of people. And then who played drums? It was John Lane played drums. Nico Leger, Nicholas, who used to play in Deborah's old band. He was on it. He recorded it in his studio. One of the studios that we recorded. We recorded a lot in his studio. Tammy was on it. Drums, John, bass. Dennis Turner, I think, was doing bass. He played bass. keys. Can't remember. I'm having a brain fart. But he used to play with Deborah.
Wow.
Key,
Okay.
early on, playing
Okay.
with Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
Nico played flute on it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of people.
Wow.
A lot of
Wow.
people.
And what was the name of that Sundays again?
The show was called Eclectic Jam Live.
And where was it located?
This place called Toka. Toka
Mm.
Cafe is on M Street, 19th and M. It's gone.
Okay.
But I think it's now a hair salon.
Wow.
But yeah, but the name of that project was called Share a Moment of Love.
Mm.
And we raised money to give to Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, wow.
And we gave them a small little donation. Not
That
teeny.
was a big effort and probably brought awareness, if anything.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. We got some money, sent some money, and it was
Yeah.
good. And I felt good. And
That was a very hard time. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I have friends down there and people I care about, and I love New Orleans. And I hated that happened. It was heartbreaking. I have people who were saving other people down there, people who were part of relief efforts,
Yeah.
people who were part of different kinds of raising
Yeah.
funds and help
Mm-hmm.
for those folk. But yeah.
Wow.
So that's sort of how I came to meet more people here. I don't have a large group of people that I've even produced in that way. But what happens is I end up working with people either as a video project
Mm-hmm.
or some other creative project or some music.
Mm.
So I don't have this deep stack of records and people that I've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
I may have done some vocal arrangements over here, but it wasn't my sole. It wasn't my sole desire to just produce music. However, I always want to produce music
Yeah.
because that's musically what I'm supposed to do.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to do. When I my senior at Hampton, we had these senior resume. What did they call them? A video resume or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I said is I wanted to make Washington, D.C. a music mecca,
Wow.
a mecca for music.
Wow.
And I think at some point I said something about having a record label or something like that. I don't know if it's a label, but I thought about it for a minute. I don't know if I don't know if I want anything that looked like what that time produced as what a record label is, because everything's different now.
Yeah.
I would never want that.
Yeah.
But I think that right now we have the ability to create that without the same financial confines,
Yeah.
without having to get a lot of money from somebody just for them to have so much control over it that if it doesn't sell a little bit, then they're going to put it on the shelf. And then you're bound for the next year, 2, 3, to just wait till the thing, you wait for somebody to buy you out or hope something hits so that you can convince them, please just release this. And, well, Beyonce's on our level too, so, she can sneeze and make more. It's ruthless. It has been ruthless. It can be ruthless.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody has to go through that if we just decide how we are going to creatively present ourselves
Okay.
so that we can get the money that we want to live.
Yeah.
I just want to eat high on the hog.
Yeah.
I want to be able to sleep late or sleep little do whatever I want to do, whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Go make some music.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon next week
Yeah.
and go look at
Yeah.
the sunrise or look at the sunset. I think I'm just going to go do that. I think freedom for me is doing whatever I want to do.
Mm.
So what does freedom look like? Well, we don't live in a free country, so we need some money.
Yeah.
So I just want what I need to be able to do those things. I don't need to be a millionaire.
No.
That would be great, though, because that just gives me what I need to make things more comfortable, make things easier. Provide something for my family, my friends, myself.
Yeah.
Because I'll hook you up before I hook myself up sometimes.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So right now, I just want to be free.
Yeah.
So freedom means doing what I like doing, making the money I deserve, and then spending it the way I want to spend it.
Absolutely.
It's really that simple. Now, what do you have to do to get that? Well, there are some things that you are going to have to suck up. But you don't have to sell your soul.
No.
And I believe in that. You have to believe in yourself, believe in what you want to do. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that.
I don't want to lose that thought that you were brought up as well. Thank you for saying what you said too. But it was you said something about if the artists locally put a little bit more into how they presented the art. Can you explain that more?
Sure. And first, let me just say that doesn't mean that they're not doing it right.
Right. Okay. Not that they're not doing it right.
And I should stop saying they. We
are not.
We are doing the best that we can do until we figure out how to do something different. And that's all I mean is that what can we figure out to do? Do we need to be together? Or do we do something singularly with the relationships that we have, and then come back and say, all right, come on, Dior, let's do this. I think it's good for us to know how to work relationships so that we can get grants, get loans, build relationships in non-traditional spaces. Why can't we have a relationship with an ad agency so they can marry their projects to a product? I can make lovey-dovey music. And if you have a lovey-dovey lotion that you're trying to present, let's build those relationships.
Yeah.
I've said this to somebody before, and I hope he hears this, but I just feel like we have, this last 10 years, the millennials have figured it all out. They figured it all out. Nobody gave y'all anything. Y'all did not have the opportunities that I had. They say, hey, can you hook up my niece and nephew? I was like, I'll do what I can. Yeah. But some things don't exist like they did. So
that's right. Yeah.
The fact that millennials have gone out and made money off of YouTube, Issa, she and her friends created a monster.
Yeah, a monster.
And something made that work on another level. When it was time for it to pop, something made it happen on another level. It wasn't magic. So what is it?
Work.
It's work. I mean, you heard of Black and Sexy TV?
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's a spinoff of her network.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
We can still do that.
Yeah, we can.
So I'm already that person in one,
Okay.
but what I know is just what I figured out when I was in 6th grade. It's like I can't play every instrument.
Yeah, focus. Excuse me. You're supposed to be talking.
But you got it though.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
play every instrument.
Yeah.
I can't be the video director and the artist, or can I? So if I can, I gotta figure out how to do it. I still need help.
Yeah.
Is my point, is I still need help.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
sometimes your help is your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can we stop worrying about, can we look at the asset
Yeah.
that we create as the asset?
Yeah. Yeah.
That today we get a meal and an honorarium,
Yeah.
and tomorrow we're all
Right.
free. Not rich, maybe not rich,
Yeah.
but we all have a car, or we all have a apartment or a condo or a house.
Yeah.
We've got to, I think we're still in an antiquated, I think there's still a lot of antiquated
Yeah.
views on what life and success looks like in business, and especially in this creative business. I direct more music now in churches.
Yeah.
Do you know these churches? They figured it out.
Yeah.
They figured it out, and they have as much gear as a small television station.
Wow.
Some
Wow.
of these, a
'Cause
lot
they're
of
trying
these,
to get their word out.
they're trying to get that word out. They on Restream, and they're sending their services to 4 or 5 different places at the same time.
Yeah.
The people who, we're not lowly out here anymore. If there's anything that I learned in the last 2 years in the basement of my house, where I was just like, there's nowhere to go. So I had all these ideas that I thought were harebrained, nerdy, faux nerdy things. And I asked my friends who are in these higher spaces, meaning these tech spaces, not higher, but just different spaces, and these engineers in different spaces. So what do you think about this? You'll still love me if this sounds crazy, so I'm asking you. The answer was like, that's a great idea, but you don't want to do it like this. You want to do it like that. Oh. Relieve yourself from this. What do you want to do? Would you want to do that? No. Okay, so you do it like this. I was like, oh. It's possible. It's doable. People are already doing it.
They're already doing it.
So we've got to get out the box. We talked about infrastructure. I was talking about something else with infrastructure, but I think that this city, Washington, D.C., and its nearby components, we have to come away from, and we're slowly doing it, being the city of museums and monuments, and be the city that builds creators.
Yeah.
We have Duke Ellington. We have the DC Youth Orchestra.
That's right.
We have the musicianship. We have the Levine School. We have all of these things that support the kids. But what about once they graduate from high school?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
We've got to support the people. We've got to make sure that they have more than a little program.
Yeah.
We have to value
Yeah.
some of these other places that are looking out, who have the same mindset. Musicians are creative. We create new things, new sounds.
Yeah.
R&B has so many subgenres now.
Yeah.
But to get it out so that we can get paid, and so that somebody can't come over from another country and do our music so much, and it looks so good coming out of their mouths that you don't recognize that the kid next door did that 4 years ago when he was 14.
Yeah.
My thing is, if he's 24, he should be able to rise.
Yes.
It shouldn't be, nobody should have to go on American Idol.
Right.
Nobody should have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We should already be ready.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't have Peabody, we don't have Eastman School here, but we do have all of these musicians. There just should be a place where people can consume it differently. DC musicians, DC music scene loves music. And you got to be good.
Yeah.
But so we know we're going to consume it here. We know we're going to consume music here in DC. I'm just saying that we need to really support every part of being a creator.
Yeah.
So, for instance, when city council people were running for city council, people for running, I asked every one of them, what are you going to do about spaces for creators? There should not be everybody doesn't have a basement. Everybody can't pay for being in the studio. Everybody can't pay for this. They can't pay for that. And the kids, they're the kids. This guy is 27 years old. He's a genius. Where's the co-working space for creators? I asked everyone that would hear me, and everybody said that they were doing it. I'm just hoping that it happens for real. I'm happy for what Mayor Bowser has done because I think that in that part of her reign as mayor, we definitely have a place where an adult person can actually be rewarded by just being seen on the Office of Cable Television, Entertainment, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They have a radio station. They're doing something that other places can't do. They have bandwidth. Why aren't we thinking about bandwidth? They've got bandwidth. Howard University has bandwidth. Bandwidth.
Break that down. What do you mean?
They got all right, so I don't want to speak completely not out of turn, but incorrectly, but when they got that station, they had bandwidth, they had space, digital space. They had not getting my words out right, but they have stations. They have space to have radio stations and television stations. They have I'm saying digital. They have digital space. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
They, how Channel 4 has you plug in your HD antennas like Channel 4, 4.25, so they have space. That's broadcast space. At least Howard has had it. I don't know if they still do. But things like that have to be utilized.
Yeah.
And it has to be hyped up like the next thing. Hyped up like some crap that's been the biggest thing on TikTok.
Yeah.
Can TikTok showcase something that's not, it's sexy? Why? We've got to think differently. That's all. I'm not saying that people aren't doing it.
Absolutely.
I think there are people who are getting it. I think Go-Go looks amazing right now.
Yeah.
Go-Go looks great right now. Watch out. Watch out. Next 5 years, nobody's going to be talking about it. Oh, DC and that Go-Go. No,
it's going to be threaded in.
We just got to keep our money. That's all.
Right. What does the term DMV mean to you? And was it a term you grew up hearing?
No. I'm from D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
Riggs Park.
Yeah.
But DMV is something that I think is evolution
Mm-hmm.
of the people moving in and out of the
Mm-hmm.
city. I mean, in the 80s, that was like one of the first times where a lot of people were kind of pushed out of Southeast and the Temple Hills and Southern Maryland. Palmer Park and all those areas became, Southern Maryland got blacker.
Mm.
And then, so it's, all the white flights over the years and the reappearance of this and, yeah, the changes over the years makes it so that to be considered DMV is cool because everybody's not just from DC. It's never been that way.
Mm.
It's always been that way. So DMV is DMV, that DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Yeah, it makes sense. It's not what I grew up hearing, but it's always been kind of DMV. It's always been DMV, but I'm EP from DC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. DC artists have to leave to get love. How do you feel about that phrase? Have you heard it before?
From everybody from every city.
Wow. Wow.
I don't think it's. I don't get salty about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I told you my story.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to leave.
Yeah.
I didn't. In fact, I didn't. It's never been my requirement to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I've wanted to go places and come back.
Yeah.
I love DC.
I love it.
It's unique.
It is.
It's very unique. But yeah, you might have to go away.
Yeah.
But that's more for you sometimes than it is for the city.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you come back with your medallion or whatever, that's our boy. That's our girl.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So even if you don't claim, if I don't claim us, they're gonna claim me as soon as I do well.
Yeah.
And that's everybody. I hear people from Philly. Everybody says that. Yeah.
Were there or have there been industry events in DC or the DMV area during your career that like stood out for you?
Events?
Yeah. That like said, oh, DC has a little bit more infrastructure than I thought.
Infrastructure, like what I just finished talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt like you touched on that, but
I think it's getting there.
okay.
I think it's getting there. I think it's getting there because I think that these creative entities that are coming out of Northern Virginia,
Yeah.
Prince George's County, they get it. Creative Suitland. Have you you heard that?
Yeah.
Creative Suitland. I'm like, Creative Suitland?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So Creative Suitland?
There's evidence of that in the building in here.
Yeah.
The director's in here.
Okay. That's you. Okay. Creative Suitland? Gateway Arts. I am a member of Gateway Arts.
Gateway Arts, yeah.
Gateway Arts. Like I said, the Office of Cable Television,
Yeah.
Film and Music.
Mm-hmm.
Just that alone.
Yeah.
It used to be just the Arts Commission. Commission for the Arts.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment. All of that.
Yeah.
And they do it.
They do.
What you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
It is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I need more help.
But I mean, but you get it because you bring the hype.
Yeah.
So if look at what roller skating. Everybody's roller skating.
Yeah.
You got Usher and Reverend dudes skating all over the place. Roller skating.
Yeah.
Anything can be hype now.
Yeah.
You got to put some energy behind
You
it.
got to put that energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about longevity in the industry. What do you believe an artist or industry professional needs to have a long career? longevity in their career?
To know themselves,
Mm-hmm.
to know how they rock, to be open to what's new, understand what's not new, but still respect how to present yourself in a new space. Always respect and listen to the young folk. You know, I know sometimes that goes left, but just understanding it. You know, I walk in places and I know this is not my space, but there's something in there that's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't have to stay all night. But I know that, you know, just knowing what's good, just being open.
Yeah.
So what does longevity mean? Just knowing yourself, knowing how you fit, knowing how, and finding people who can help you stay relevant. I hate that word relevant, but relevant in that at least you're seen in a space.
Yeah.
You don't have to be Beyonce.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the hottest thing smoking, whatever they say. You just need to be somewhere. Yeah. If it's the coffee shop, can you do coffee shop tours? Stay creative. Yeah. You know, there are people who are 75 still rocking stages, and they're not, you know, they're just people. What do you want? What do you want in your life? You know, what do you want? Because if you're happy, then the coffee shop is good. If you're happy, then you doing a duet with your this 12-year-old kid is good. Yeah. What do you want? So longevity is seeing what's around you and seeing if that niche is fits. Do you need to get rich off of it? No. You just need to be somewhere, be happy with it, and kind of understand what it's going to do for you. And what if it blows up? Yeah. Oh man, what if your 12-year-old nephew samples you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you hear that new joint?
How they be hitting your voice over there. Do you feel that artists today have more infrastructure or more access to infrastructure?
Yeah, if they build it.
Yeah.
If they build it, they have the energy to build it. Infrastructure is just building a system that people you can walk things through. It's like a machine. It's a machine. Yeah. I think it. Yeah. I mean, the thing about now is that things change. It was Snapchat. That's gone.
Yeah. In here and out of here.
Yeah, life. What's the new one? Well, there's TikTok now, and IG is changing to a TikTok world with reels. I mean, you don't have to do it all. You do not have to do it all. Maybe you can get somebody else to do it for you. I am not going to be tweeting all day or IGing. I do some IG. Yeah. I do it because I enjoy it. Yeah. But it's work. I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do it. I do what I want. Yeah. If I want more out of it, then I'll hire somebody to make more of a hype situation out of it. Yeah. In fact, when I do my bigger project in the next 6 months or so, I'm going to hire somebody to make it hype because I don't have the bandwidth, my personal bandwidth, to do that. Yeah. So that's what people need to know. That's longevity, knowing when you're not going to do that. Yeah. You know good and well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Get somebody else to do it. And pay because it's money well spent. Yeah.
You're investing in yourself.
Invest in yourself and the things you believe in because it's money well spent. It always comes back.
Do you believe there's sustainability in music having a career in the DMV, DC in particular?
Yeah. There's, yes.
Yeah.
the DMV is full of business people, politicians, schools, universities, and all kinds of entities that need art, still, performance, music. How do you make that work with them? I have friends that are professors, and I've never seen professors work their professor thing the way they work it, like really creating things that mean something for folk other than the university, but really helping the university do the best for their communities, for their students, for their faculties, for the university, how it looks and stands, but also helping niche groups, special interests, people, groups, things, ideals. All of that is important. This is out the box thinking. I mean, if you just, it's nothing wrong with, beat your feet.
Yeah.
That might be all you can do for a certain period of time is get out there and do the beat your feet dance. But how does that look paired with something else? For the positive. For the positive.
Absolutely.
It's it's just like everything else. Are we going to wait for Beyonce to do something?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Thank God for her.
Yeah, but you're just saying you could do it too.
We've been telling you house is great for years. She sampled something great.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with what goes on. It's just how we present it. And I know that there's trouble. I know that it's problematic sometimes to get the money.
Yeah.
I know it's problematic sometimes to just get into spaces. It's money. There's spaces.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get into, but that's when you have to reach out
Yeah, you're right.
to people who have spaces and places or relationships with people who have spaces and money, and people out there have money to spend and invest. Don't be afraid of that. So that's another, some of the other antiquated stuff we have to shake off. Don't be afraid to sign some paperwork. Trust.
Yeah.
Find the right people to trust.
Yeah.
I hope that answered that question.
Yeah, you absolutely. Is there anything that you wanted to share that we haven't covered?
I've said way too much. Oh my God.
No, it's awesome.
Blah, 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 blah. I didn't know I could talk this much. It hit me.
We cannot. This cannot be the only one. We have to do another.
Oh, Lord.
We got some more
I'm
stories
tired of
in
me.
there.
Yeah, it's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But just support me, your friends. Don't be afraid to teach people. See people. See them. See people like you see yourself. See yourself and other people, because that's the way we start respecting people, and we start not being afraid to work with somebody that we don't know that well.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were scared to speak to so-and-so and so-and-so? I have some really powerful friends that I didn't think I would ever have a relationship with. But we have a relationship because they like me because I said the right thing at the right time. I don't know. I smiled at the right time or made a little slick joke. I don't know. But what do I want? I'm going to work on a documentary that is so me
Mm.
because I kind of referenced it at the beginning of our talk several hours ago. Just how music came to me, and through my mom and dad.
Oh, wow.
But it was all about that music that I told you I heard in my house.
Mm-hmm.
That's black-centered music.
Mm.
And it had a pipeline that ran through the black church
Yeah.
and the black universities, HBCUs. So stand by for that.
Mm.
And I was talking about all those band directors
right.
that knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, send them on down here. Yeah, all that stuff is real and real. We don't talk about it. Nobody talks. It's not hidden.
Mm.
It's just like, yeah, oh yeah. I've never heard a story about that.
Wow.
And every time I talk about that, there are other stories that are equally as exciting
Mm-hmm.
to hear about. So, look out for it and feel free to help me out
Okay.
to get it done. Yeah, I need help. I need the hype. I need your kind of hype. We all need each other.
Yes, we do.
I need the millennial hype.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, y'all got it mastered.
Oh, no. We don't have it mastered.
No, you kind of do.
We're out here guerrilla style.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about that is, it's just like, look, I had $4 yesterday.
Yeah.
I've got $7 today. I'm good. If you
Yeah.
take all of it away, I'll be all right in 2 days because I have 14.
Yeah.
And we're just like, wait, where's my? I don't have any money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. And I'm just like, no, just have some water, hydrate, chill out for a second. You hear that? Stomach. Yeah. Just look out for me. I'll look out for you. I always say, Dior, you're just great.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're just great. No, because I think I'm excited about what you're doing is because
we about to work.
you're exactly that infrastructure I'm talking about. You, all these people I noted, I've been watching you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can do, I don't think that there's anything any of these other cities are doing that's so
Right.
different
Mm-hmm.
and so much better than what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a sleeper cell right here.
Mm-hmm.
Just office of film, music, TV, music and entertainment. It's a sleeper cell of several genres of just excellence and creativity. This is a media town.
Yeah.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. We just have to believe that.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Stop fussing. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Elise.
You're
Thank you. Yes, please. She deserves the claps. Elise Perry.